Welcome back to the grind. In this video, we're going to talk about the spell details for the Frostwreath legendary Festive Ice Warrior Tarax. Now, we're also going to talk about whether or not I recommend getting him depending on your situation. So these are his spells. We have Whiteout, an active white 2 rage spell that deals 8% of the dragon's modified HP as damage to all nearby towers. So it's like an area of effect. You don't target the area you want to hit, and it will freeze them for 3.5 seconds. And while they're frozen, they'll take an additional 30% damage, and there is no cooldown on this spell. He will then have Hibernate, which is an active blue 0 rage spell that can only be used once, and it will heal the dragon for 250% of his modified HP over 12 seconds. So this is actually kind of what I was hoping for this dragon's ability. The next spell he has is Ice Lance, an active white 1 rage spell that will function similar to Ice Flux but with some different details. It will fire a projectile at an automatically chosen tower, prioritizing the blue mage, and dealing 75% of the dragon's HP as damage, and will have a 4-second cooldown. And finally, a passive Fire Flak resist spell. So I'm actually kind of happy about the way some of these spells worked out. The Whiteout having no cooldown is very beneficial because that means you can cast it back to back and keep the towers frozen for 7 seconds and keep that additional damage bonus going as well. And I'm also happy that the Hibernate heals a significant amount of HP back over 12 seconds. And then Ice Lance having only 1 rage cost and a 4-second cooldown allows you to use it twice in a short period if you're like going over a short island. So how will you use this dragon, and will it be effective? Well, I think it will struggle against defended bases, especially if it has an ice flak that's kind of set back on a long middle island, or if they hold on to their super shots and wait until after you've frozen towers twice. If you can't take out the mage towers in that time, then you'll be mage drained and you'll have nothing else to do. Unfortunately, the additional 30% damage that towers take when under the effect of Whiteout I don't think is very significant. When you look at Griff, for example, this season, his Dragon Breath can be boosted 200%, which is significantly more than this spell will do. So it allows Griff to take out towers much more easily, even if they're using hammers. And with only this 30% increased damage, I'm not sure that it'll be enough to counteract the defended bases, even at equal tiers. However, this is how I would approach the island. You would come around the corner, and let's talk about a long middle island, for example. You would come around the corner and use Ice Lance to take out the blue mage. You'd use the Whiteout spell to freeze the towers before you get hit by any damage or super shots. And then you would be dealing increased damage and hopefully take out a tower. After 3.5 seconds, you could freeze the towers again, especially if there's still mage towers in range. Or you could save it until the second half of the island if you've already taken out the most threatening towers. Another thing to consider is you can activate Hibernate, and it will run throughout the entire island, and pretty much every second gaining 20% of your health. Every 2 seconds, it's 40% of your health. So you're gaining a lot of health over the course of the island that can counteract damage that you're taking and allow you to be a little bit more tanky. But you need to keep in mind that if there is also a blue mage on the back of the long island and you have Hibernate active, it will cancel it unless you can destroy that blue mage first. And I'm not sure if Ice Lance will have the range to take it out before it cancels Hibernate. That will be something that you'll have to test out. Unfortunately, I will not be able to fly this dragon. But for a short island, it'll be much easier. And honestly, this dragon might actually be okay. But again, I don't think he'll be able to overcome a lot of hammers. But you come around, you Ice Lance to take out the blue mage, you Whiteout to freeze the towers, and then you just use your Dragon Breath to hopefully you can destroy 1 or 2 towers in that time. And then you use Whiteout again to keep the towers frozen a little bit longer, and then Ice Lance will be available again to help destroy another tower. But I imagine that unfortunately, if you're hitting a strong base with a defender, that you will not be able to clear every single tower. But I think he will be able to survive. I think he's going to be a pretty pretty tanky dragon as far as being able to heal back a lot of his health and survive a lot of damage in that process, as well as being able to freeze towers to avoid a lot of the super shots and mage drain. So if used correctly, he might be okay, but I don't think he's going to be a very strong dragon. I don't think he's one of the best this season, and even if you're going for warriors, I think Griff is probably the better dragon to choose. But at the same time, Tarax is a unique dragon. He's pretty cool looking. His spells are also pretty interesting. So it just comes down to what you think you would prefer in a dragon, and if you don't care too much about having the most strength in the dragon possible. As far as runes go, his runes will increase whiteout damage and increase warrior HP. And for this dragon, like most warriors, I think rage and HP will be most important for him, because this will allow him to stay alive longer and his spells do more damage based on more HP. And having the extra rage will be crucial to help you use his critical spells as often as possible. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it helps you decide what you're going to do this season. And if you're still unsure, I'm going to be coming out with a video soon comparing all the dragons this season and sharing my opinions on which ones are the most beneficial for you to get in different situations. So we'll see you in the next video.